Good day, guys. My name is Vasanth. I'm a NEET expert. I actually train the NEET aspirants to achieve their dreams, and I've been doing this for more than 9+ years. And today we are gonna, see some of the topics of class 9 under the chapter Natural Resources. There is another video which you have not seen, like you have to see, so that you would be able to understand, it's just a continuation of the next, the previous video. So if you have not watched the previous video, I would suggest you to watch it and then come back. Okay. So now let's get into the topic. Okay. So just allow me a minute. And today, after let's see what are the topics that we are going to look into today. The topics that will be covered will be basically soil, which is one of the other natural resource which we have covered in the previous topic itself. We have just been introduced that that's also a natural resource. But today we are going to introduce ourselves with the soil. So the soil is one of the most important component. We're going to know more about it, how is it formed, and different layers of soil. What are the main components that actually contributes, and the different types of soil, and then how soil could be eroded out of the place. And then the next important topic would be biogeochemical cycle, or the water. In that we are going to see water cycle. So we'll see one by one, and then we'll go everything in detail, and you can all get your doubts clarified, and then I'll try to give you some FAQ also. Okay. So the first topic is soil. So soil is one of the most abundant material that is found on the Earth's surface. So it is covered mostly by water. So Earth is covered mostly by water. But the remaining percent is covered with land. The land constitutes the soil. So the earthly material is considered the soil. So the process of formation of the soil is called pedogenesis. P-E-D-O Genesis. Pedo means soil. Genesis means formation. Okay, pedogenesis. And the spherical accumulation of soil around the earth forms the pedosphere, okay, or lithosphere. Okay, so this is about soil in detail, because soil actually contributes to most of the thing. So just like we have actually addressed water and air as a medium. Okay, soil is also a medium in which lots of things happen. So people usually say soil is very important for growing plants, right? No. Soil is not required for plants. Soil is not the only material that is required for plants. Soil is a medium, is one of the medium which is required for plants to grow, so that it can stack all the nutrients. So the soil has stacked all the nutrients. So those nutrients can be absorbed by the plants to grow and perform its functions. So that's why soil is useful. So soil also retains the water molecules in them and then save them. And then later it can be used for the purpose of photosynthesis, and then preparing their own food and all those stuff. So that is the function of soil. So soil actually contains minerals, mineral particles, and then roots, humus, and organic matter. These are the basic composition of soil. The soil is made up of organic material and other minerals that are combined together to form a nutritive mixture. So that is what the soil actually contains. So let's see the next thing. How is the soil formed? So soil is not found as such. It is usually big rocks, and upon so many processes, they undergo a process called weathering of rocks. We call it weathering of rocks, W-E-A-T-H-E-R-I-N-G, weathering of rocks. So because of which the rocky material will get broken down to smaller substances, and then that results in formation of soil. So what is this soil made up of? Soil is made up of mineral particles, organic material, air, water, and living organisms. So they are all constantly being completely combined together and then stuff like that. The soil formation begins with water dripping. So have you ever tested, like, or do you know that the power of water? So the power of water is like when a drop of water is allowed to, like, drip, okay, at a frequency of one drop every 3 seconds, okay, in a very solid surface. It will create a huge depression in the matter of months, and like in the matter of years, it will cause a huge depression. Okay, so this is the power of water. It is because of the molecule of water actually has a weight, and that weight has an impact, like gravitational impact, and because of which it has a force, and that force impacting on the surface when it drops, so creates a depression. So this is how the rocks are broken. Or sometimes when the water gets stagnated in these cracks, it gets, increased in volume upon, forming into ice. So as a result of which, what happens, the cracks develop. So when the cracks develop, the big huge mountains will be broken down to bigger rocks, and then they'll be broken down to smaller rocks, and then later they'll become pulverized and mineralized due to continuous process and stuff. So that results in formation of rock. So this is actually one type of weathering of rocks. So even chemicals actually contribute. So there are different ways. One is natural, okay, and then artificial. So natural involve, okay, physical, then chemical, and then living. So when you talk about physical, usually the water, and then like lightning striking and all those things, and then air could also cause like pyrogenesis. It will actually corrode the rock particles, mineral particles, and then like move it away from the places and stuff. So any chemical substance have an interaction with the rocks, because rocks are nothing but minerals. So they will also get destroyed and broken down to smaller pieces, and then they get transferred or moved from the place. So that's how soil could be formed. So this could be because of chemical interactions even. And any living material. Let's say, for example, there are a lot of cracks, and plants' roots actually tend to grow into these cracks. And upon the increase in diameter of the roots, the root will actually experience so much force in the cracks. So because of which the cracks will develop, and then it will be broken down, and it roll over, and then broken, and then breaks down into smaller particles of rocky substance, and then later it undergoes pyrogenesis, and that's what results in formation of mineral rich soil. So that is actually soil formation for you. Now, next topic which we're going to talk about is soil profile. So soil profile is one of the most important thing. So if we take cross section of a soil, okay, if you take cross section of a soil, in a parallel surface, you will see several layers or horizons. Okay, so these horizons represent different types of composition of materials. So which will be seeing in the next slide. So here, if we take a section of the soil, so there are O horizon, A horizon, E horizon, B horizon, C horizon. So the O is nothing but the organic material, which will be like dead leaf and dead plant and fecal matter of organisms and stuff. And then the top soil, which will be like soil combined with like humus and stuff. So you can see. So and then next one is the transition, where it will getting combined into many organic material, it is getting completely broken down. It is getting converted. The subsoil is converted to topsoil. Okay, that is possible. And after that, the weakened bedrocks of the sea region will become subsoil. So the solid bedrocks underneath will have a constant transition of mixing up with organism, mixing up with the soil particles, the humus material, and then they form the topsoil. So the O layer, the O horizon, constantly getting replaced by the falling of leaves and dead materials, dead organic materials that gets piled up on topsoil. So this results in formation of organic pile up. So this is the soil profile. And the soil profile will actually helps in lots of cases by accumulating water and also allows in percolation. So only when the water gets percolated, percolation is like water penetrates through these gaps in the water molecule and then gets saved at the bottommost bedrocks. Okay, so this is how you can go with tube wells, and then you can extract those water and then later it can get used. Now the point that you need to see over here is when it rains, the water will need a passage through which it can go. So in this case, the roots of the plant will actually act as a medium through which the water goes on the surface of the roots and then reaches the topsoil, and then the water drips in, carrying all the nutrients to the bottommost part. So that results in growing of the roots of the plant deep enough and holds the soil and avoids one of the most important problems, which is the soil erosion. So the soil profile is different category of soil mixed up with organic components and different types of soil having different mineral composition will literally help in the process of complete mixing up, so that it can be found in layers and layers. So this literally helps in understanding the different layers of soil with different nutritional content and how it is going to be helpful and stuff. So there are different types of soil that we can study about. There are 4 different types of soil. The one will be sandy soil. Sandy soil consists of just the weathered rocks. This soil is will not have any organic material in it. So it is just poor material. It cannot be used to grow that much. And especially being it is being porous, it will not be able to hold on to the content. What content? Like water content. So it is water holding capacity is also very, very poor. Okay, so the water will not be able to get stagnated in this place or stored in this place. So plants will not be able to survive. So it will not find water in this region. So next one is silt soil. So silt soil is most finest particles. The finest particles, not the most finest particles. So compared to sandy soil, the silt soil is just found in the deposits of the river banks. So it will be highly mineral rich, and they are smaller than the sand, and they are comparatively bigger than the sand particles found in the clay. So let's say this is the size of the soil particle found in sandy soil. Okay, and this will be the size of the soil particles found in the silt soil, and this will be the size of the soil particles found in the clay soil. So do you see the difference? This is sandy soil, this is silt soil, and this is clay soil. So smallest particle amongst the other 2 types of soil, and it is actually because of its very smaller size, it gets tightly packed, and it have other materials in them, and it will not allow percolation of water that easily because it is airtight packed. Because of its smaller size, the space in between these molecules found will be way too less, and it will become it will be very hard for the plants to literally breathe in. So clay soils are very hard to actually use with. The next part is loamy soil. So loamy soil is the 4th type of soil, and it is a combination of the silt, the clay, and the sand put together. But it will also have humus. I repeat, humus, not the hummus. Okay, Humus, humus. So humus is a decaying organic material. So that will have or provide the loamy soil to have a high water holding capacity and mineral rich to supply all the nutrients and water required for plants, and very much suitable for the survival of the plants. Okay, so these are the different types of soil which will be suitable for some of them are suitable for construction, some of them are suitable for plant growth, and every single soil is useful for some other purposes. And one more tip: soil is when it is purified, it forms quartz, which is one of the most important material in making several things, and especially glasses. It is made out of silica, which is nothing but sand, purified sand. Okay, so these are some examples of things. This is clay soil, this is loamy soil, and then gravel, and then this is sandy soil, or we call it the silt soil. The next one we are going to talk about the soil erosion. So, soil, as I've already mentioned, when the plants are being cut, the function of the plants and the soil is like very simple to understand. The roots actually branches out and then grips the soil. Okay, so it's like, you know, many fingers. A person with many fingers hold on to the soil. So more the finger it is, like, you know, the more the grip it has on the soil. Okay, so what happens is when there is very less, like, you know, fingers or nothing, there is no root over here. When there is a flow of water during the process of rainy season, the water will be like, you know, washing off all the organic materials and every substance in the topsoil, and the water drained materials will be lost in the water resource. And the problem is, in the land, the most abundant organic material soil will be like, you know, totally lost of organic substance, and there will be no life form. So there will be no, it will not be possible easily to actually get a plant grown in that region. So that results in a complete erosion of the topsoil, which will not suit a plant to be growing in that field. Okay, so this is about soil erosion. I hope you have understood about soil erosion. The next topic we're going to see about is biogeochemical cycle. So for living, okay, there should be usage of both abiotic and biotic components. So the chemical substances which are all composition, which are constituent of the earth itself, are going to be in a cyclic form. Okay, example here is like, you know, water. So water cycle is one of the most important biogeochemical cycle. When the chemicals that are present in the surface of water undergo cyclic change in the process of being used and then getting back, okay, it replenished back. So this process is called biogeochemical cycle. When you see this biogeochemical cycle, the first example that you can see about biogeochemical cycle is the water cycle. So water cycle is like, you know, not a cycle that is ridden on water and or the cycle that actually powered by water. No. So it is just that the cyclic motion of water, okay, that actually undergoes transformation and then comes back to the same case. So the continuous movement of water goes above, like in the process of evaporation, and then comes to the ground in the process of precipitation. This process is actually happening all over again and again and again, which makes it called as water cycle. So in this picture, you can see this, the water over here is getting evaporated, and a huge contribution is provided in the process of transpiration. So transpiration is something that we have studied in the chapter tissues under complex permanent tissue under xylem and phloem. So the water actually gets absorbed in the plants with the help of the evaporation of water, which is called transpiration. So this process will, so what you need to understand here is, with the help of heat, the water actually becomes gaseous in nature, and because of the energy, it gets elevated. So it uses the energy to get elevated to a particular altitude. After it uses up the energy, it becomes cooled down. So once after it cools down, it gets condensed. It gets condensed, like it will form clouds. So once after it gets condensed, it reaches to a different place, and later it gets precipitated. So this precipitation leads to, like, you know, rainfall. So when this rainfall actually gets collected in different ways. One, this rainfall gets collected into the groundwater, or it again reaches the nearby water source, and later again it gets contributed to the evaporation process. So it will get used up, or after it is getting used up, it will become and it enter into the sea again undergoes evaporation. So likewise, if you see, the water is under in a cyclic process all the time. So this cyclic process of water, which is being constantly used, is called the water cycle. So this is the biogeochemical and water cycle. I hope you have understood the total concept of water cycle. Okay. Now we have a few questions which we can go through, and the first thing is which crop can be grown in loamy soil? So loamy soil is actually one of the most important used soil variety for the purpose of cultivation. So it is very suitable for growing crops such as cotton, oilseeds, sugarcane, wheat, pulses, jute, and vegetables. So any soil that is actually containing a lot of humus and every other composition that suits the purpose of plantation or growing crops is called loamy soil. And the loamy soil actually is very suitable for growing of plants. Okay, so that's the answer about loamy soil. Next, which soil is called the gardener's best friend? Okay, so the gardener's best friend is actually called loamy soil because it contains more amount of loamy soil is actually called the gardener's best friend because it contains more amount of humus which has water holding capacity. Okay, water and minerals. Okay, so both of them are abundant in loamy soil. So that is why it is actually considered gardener's best friend. So thank you so much, guys, for spending your time with us. I hope you have enjoyed the video. So don't just stop by just enjoying a video. Join us with online live classes so that you can get a live interaction, and you will definitely enjoy our classes. I can promise you that. And if you have any doubts, like post it in our forum. We have dedicated teachers who are always looking into these questions, and you will get it answered ASAP in less than 24 hours. And feel free to ask any questions, and we'll see you in the next videos. Thank you so much for your time. Have a nice day.